Hi, I'm Prachi Srivastav, Head Corporate Relations, Sagar Group of Institution, in conversation with Mr. Rishu Gupta, Founder and Director, Pod.ai, along with him, Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh, Director, Sagar Group of Institution. And we'll be talking on emerging trends in career development, training, and academics. Welcome to the show. Being an academic leader, what is your core philosophy while we are talking on student employability or just academics?
So, employability is all about your preparation towards the industry, right? So, if I talk about employability as such, it is all about the skills the students get to know, the hands on which they actually work upon, and apart from that, the foundational core subjects which they actually learn throughout their academic journey. So all these things actually define the employability of the students. And that's how actually the core of the entire learning and development of the students towards employability is the hands-on and the practice, which actually they do while they learn the foundational things.
You're absolutely right. So, what is your perspective in this?
So for me, employability, the way organizations would see it is that do you have it in you to be successful in your careers is way I would like to say. So skills, of course, are very important. When they look at employability, they are looking at it from various perspectives: personality, attitude, leadership qualities. Are you proactive enough? Do you have the skills which are required to execute the tasks that you're doing on a day-to-day basis? Are you a good team player? How good your communication is? Are you able to express, right? How do you perform probably under pressure? So employability, if you look at what corporates is looking at is that does a student or anyone, any individual have it in them to be successful in their careers, right? And of course, with every organization, with every profile, the weightage that is assigned to each of these things might be different. For example, what you may need for a field profile versus a desk profile, for a coding profile versus a sales profile, right? So, of course, communication is required in all of them, but maybe the type of communication and the proficiency in communication required might be different. So, every company has or a profile has a different requirements. So, employability. So, that's what essentially, if I would say from a perspective of an industry, that's how they would like to define employability. And at the same time, as a college and a university, when you're working with students, we have to ensure that they have an all-round development. So academics, trainings, collaborations, competition. So we try to develop all these different, let's say, qualities in students via different experiences. Not everything can be taught in a class only, right? So something comes with internship, something comes with projects, right? Something comes with maybe when students are organizing a tech fest or a, let's say, a cultural fest, right? So it's about you develop various skills and then how all those skills come together to make you successful in your career. So I would probably, let's say, that's how I would say that it assumes a broader context when we define employment.
Getting more deeper into that, just wanted to ask you how this enhancement of employability skills in the today's engineering students or management students or pharma students, how pod playing a role.
So how Pod is helping is firstly, Pod helps you understand what is that exactly industry is looking for, looking at the placement, data analytics, figuring out what kind of profiles is that the students are applying for, what is that the companies are looking for. Is your training curriculum getting aligned with those? Are the students being measured rightly, be it on their communication skills, be it on their leadership skills, be it on their coding skills, right? So we have to tailor make the program based on what is required for those students. And then all the faculty members, all the trainers, everyone, there are many people in an institution who are playing a role in this. So are they fully aligned with this? Is everyone, are we teaching the things in a class? Maybe let's say it's a coding class. Are we teaching the problems in a way that the students are expected to solve or when they're applying concepts, right? Or how probably an industry is expecting them, right? So that gap has to be bridged holistically where be it academics, be it trainings or any other intervention, there has to be an alignment towards a common goal. So that alignment happens via pod, where we work with every stakeholder in helping them understand exactly where the gap lies and what is required for each individual student, so they can plan things based on what the need of the hour is, where the gap is, and in that broader context, we are then able to achieve success.
So, ma'am, we have recently seen many of the institutions are still following the training and the academics as the different tracks. So, why did you choose to break this trend and opted for training and academics as a single track?
So academics is all about the kind of scheme and the syllabus which we follow. For the complete download of the foundational as well as the training skills and the technologies. Now, if I talk about training as such, so training comes with the inputs from the industry. What is required at that point of time? So whenever we talk about the training and the academics, it has to go hand in hand because like in the current trainings, like we cannot separate it out definitely. And if I talk about the techno-professional courses, ticket engineering, pharmacy, or management, everything is a practicing kind of skills, right? Everything has to be practiced. It is not exclusively the theoretical concepts which are there and that has to somewhere apply. So there where actually the training becomes very important at every stage of their semester. Because when they actually, if I talk about the entire learning and development cycle of the students in the academic institutions, then like they definitely will be understanding all the core subjects and then the application of it at every point of time in every subject. So naturally, like if I talk about SISTec, so it has to be like we have started it from the first year itself. So whatever they learn, they apply it, and the culmination of every learning is in terms of the projects. So ultimately, the project-based learning, the experiential learning, and the hands-on will actually give them the actual skill set which they require. So that's how it is essential that it cannot be separate out. It has to be go hand in hand, and then like if I talk about the project-based learning, if I talk about the entire roadmap of any course, then it has to be with some objective, and the objective of the entire student life cycle is either the placements or the entrepreneurship or I would say the higher studies. So it has to be in hand and it has to be collaborative efforts. It cannot be separate out.
So, my question to you further, while developing this core, integration of training into curriculum, there are n number of players in the market. Open playgrounds are being given to these students. They can opt, they can applicate, they can perform things over those platforms. So, how Pod.ai differs from those platforms?
So, I mean, while answering that, so ma'am has just mentioned, ma'am mentioned certain very key things. For example, academics and trainings have to go hand in hand, right? Objectives. What is that I want to do later, right? Further studies, entrepreneurship, job, what kind of a job, right? So, if you look at from this scenario and what are we teaching, how are we building foundations, and then what actually how we need to practice it in the industry, right? So if you look at the core message is that there has to be a collaboration. We have to work together, right? So institutions have different models. Sometimes it is the faculty members who are also very close to the industry, so they are able to adapt very well, or they have very specific only training teams, in-house training teams, whose job is where they say faculties are helping build the foundation, and the training team is expecting that the foundation is being built well, wherein they will bring in the industry flavor, right? And sometimes if that doesn't suffice, certain colleges, depending upon where they are, they may have external training companies come into picture to fill in the gaps. So if you look at now you mentioned, let's say, open playgrounds, different portals, and so on. So if you look at all these are coming together and providing different avenues for students to practice and improve themselves. The industry in today's world is evolving so fast that if you look at any discipline, any course, there are so many choices which are there. There can never be probably, and having said that, the pace of change is only rapidly increasing. It is not slowing down. AI is going to further increase it much faster. So what it means is now for every student, there are so many choices. Everyone has so many preferences, right? So it's not possible where, let's say, one training company or a few trainers or let's say certain faculty members can come and fulfill everything for a student, right? So we feel that how we are different is we kind of try to bring together all of them in a place where even the faculty members, the trainers, the industry curriculum can be all put together for a student in a plan which the student is personally interested in. So maybe in academics, helping them build the foundation and trainers further building on the foundation when the industry specific curriculum is being brought into picture. So they say, while I'm teaching here, I'm covering this part, but we do know what the strengths and the weaknesses of students are, and that's what the trainers then add the flavor. And because when you are imparting education, preparing students at a scale, you have a few thousand students learning institution, and there'll be many students who have very specific requirements, right? So that's where some open playgrounds also come into the picture, where all those open playgrounds can be configured on Pod also, and you can say that yes, my students have these very specific needs, right? And they're coming from these backgrounds and they have these aspirations. So the playgrounds are more customized as per their requirements, so that they also succeed in their life. What a solution might be, let's say for a student in Bhopal, for a student in maybe Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, the solution might be very different. The kind of background that they may have, what might have done in their schooling, right? So open playgrounds maybe can help students learn by themselves, right? Can also help them understand where they stand, right? So all of these together come across now to help students grow, right? So Pod helps you bring a combination of all these for your students on campus, but with proper analytics and signals being available to all your faculty members, your trainers, your industry, your placement team, your leadership, to ensure, okay, what is that we need? And they always know what is the pulse of the students now. What is that the talent they have, what they need, and what is that the demand is, right? So you can continuously keep on revising your curriculum, continuously keep on revising your playgrounds. A solution that you may put together today in 2026, it will be very different in January 2027, right? So that's the role Pod plays.
Please would like to add to Rishu what he's saying. So, like for SISTec, let's say we have the roadmap of skill-based training available. We are practicing the soft skill training for the students right from 2013. Everything is there in place, but the ultimate thing is that what is where our students stand amongst that entire class, where someone stands, what is the competency, what is the strength of someone, and what is the weakness across that cohort, where the student stands state wise, nationally. So institutions also has to understand that what is the preparation level of the students if we are talking about the employability of the students. So there where actually I feel that the platform like Pod is very much supportive, and it actually gives you the entire feedback, entire data analytics of the preparation of the student in all kind of skill sets, and then the teacher or the professor or the head of the department, they get to know about what is required to be taught more individually, how the person can be prepared, what has to be added, what has to be removed, and so on. So there how actually we build through the data analytics, through the proper inputs, the feedbacks from the platform like Pod, which is the one which is really exhaustive. Wherein actually, if someone actually from the computer science side, if he practices some coding questions, so he gets many test cases and he gets the entire similar kind of environment as if he is appearing in the recruitment drive. So that practice, if someone gives, and when actually that competitiveness is there with the same problem amongst the students, not individually, then someone can assess that yes, this can be improved upon. The student also can learn out of it, and even the faculty also can learn out of how to be more given to the students.
Ma'am, if I just look at our journey so far, the last few months, a year, I think from where we started on what the initial curriculum was and where we are today in terms of what actually the curriculum is, that has changed a lot, right? Because now we have real time signals coming in that what is working, what is not working, where the students are excelling, not excelling, right? So now our curriculum is becoming more conducive or more appropriate for the students, and we know that how already the plans for the next semester, right? So now we don't have to wait for a year, 2 year, 3 year to figure out that okay, this training company has come in, has given something, okay, how did the placements go, and then we'll think and plan, and okay, next year we'll do something, and then again wait for the results. Now we're getting real time signals, which again you are able to measure with maybe some employability test, and you are seeing those results in your placements. Whether it is correlating with your data, right? So that whole engine collaboration is now coming together. So right from the curriculum is changing, you are seeing, you maybe have started now splitting your students in different cohorts based on what is that the requirement of this group of students is, right? I've seen how for a certain set of students who really want to build careers in coding, let's say for example, but they did not have much coding experience prior to coming to college, right? Compared to others who probably have studied in cities or gone to schools. So how you have come up with bridge courses, right? So now we have started becoming these and the data analytics. If you look at the team at SISTec, I mean, every week you're on top of exactly what is happening. What is that a student is doing, right? What particular subtopics the student is getting a better on, and what are the topics on which the student is taking time. So now you're changing your classes also. You're saying, okay, no, for this topic, I need to give 2 classes or 3 classes, versus I need to give 1 class.
Right.
So, and faculties also now know a lot more about actually what a student is doing. Can we really imagine a world today with so much variety in courses where a faculty member can test physically the response of every student in every class and determine that okay, in the next class I have to teach it in this way because my only these students understood these concepts. But if you look at now, faculties are on the fly generating class tests, are being able to measure that what the student learned or not learned, right? So the system has become a lot more dynamic, right? And it goes hand in hand, right? So now I think there's also an alignment with the faculty who's teaching in class. What a leadership is thinking, right?
Definitely.
Earlier, okay, maybe we have a meeting, we decide we have to achieve these goals, and by the time we meet next time, a few months have gone by, and then we measure whether it was achieved or not achieved, and we have like a tools which we are not sure whether the measurement is right or not. But all that has changed now. It is all real time, and on a day-to-day basis, everyone is aware.
And adding to that, like Pod, with Pod, actually, we are completely like it's a comprehensive kind of assessment. Like the student is so well engaged, like every day, like every lab which he is attending, every training he is attending. So wherein actually the faculty is giving the class tests, the assignments, the assessments. So he is completely involved and he is assessing the preparedness of himself in a better way. So that is actually it's a student engagement in a right direction. It's the assessment through which the student is getting the signals, and then for a faculty, it's again a test for the faculty also. Like they have to prepare it so well. They have to prepare in like in 360-degree, I would say. So that thing has to be brought, and that was completely actually addressed with Pod.ai, because earlier we were looking forward to this such kind of tool wherein actually we wanted to have some platform wherein the assessment of the students, a common platform wherein the assessment of the students can be done on their preparedness towards C, Java, Python, everything. So Pod is giving the entire comprehensive kind of portal wherein the students are practicing every kind of programming technology. So that's really we wanted from long time, and like we are getting.
As just extend to that fact, if you see at SISTec now, pharmacy students will come in, the electronic students will come in. We are talking about cyber security. We are talking about aptitude tests. So everything is all coming together because when you started employability, right? So everything is going to happen together. So you have your soft skills trainers coming in, right? Faculties coming in. We are talking about bringing in, let's say, MATLAB, multiple aspects, right? So it's going to be a complete 360 thing available. But you can completely align your placements with trainings and with academics and really figure out that what is all that a student needs, and every other person who's in charge for their own goal but is working in complete alignment. They know academics covered this aspect, I need to cover this in trainings. Oh, and the placement team is saying that, oh, this got covered, by the way, I need this more because this is what the industry is asking me today. Correct. But all that talk is not limited to meetings and some documents. That's happening real time. You can easily inject it into the system, and you know that in the very next week, that is actually what will be going to the students in their classroom teaching or training, or was as a simple assignment.
When we talk about assessments, we talk about digital learning, we talk about curriculum, trainings, placements, and everything integrated for the better learning and development of the student ecosystem. Now, how this digital transformation impacts this SISTec brand in the eyes of parents and the BTech aspirants?
Okay, so the SISTec is basically a digital campus. Why we say so? Because the entire cycle, student cycle, from the entry to exit is enhanced with this digital experience, right? So from the admissions till placements, everything is digitized at SISTec. So हम अगर बात करते हैं कि एकेडमिक्स की, एकेडमिक एक्सपीरियंस उनका स्टूडेंट्स का और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्सपीरियंस। एकेडमिक की अगर बात करें तो जैसे मैंने पहले भी आपको बताया कि उनका जो डे टू डे का करिकुलम है, उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है, अटेंडेंस है, उनका परफॉर्मेंस है, उनके ट्रेनिंग में परफॉर्मेंस है, उनका स्किल डेवलपमेंट है, एवरीथिंग इज कैप्चर्ड थ्रू द डिजिटल इनपुट्स। और वो जो डेटा आ रहा है, वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन है, वो इंफॉर्मेशन पेरेंट्स के लिए बहुत क्रिटिकल हो जाती है, बिकॉज पेरेंट्स आर नॉट देयर विद द स्टूडेंट्स आर कमिंग फ्रॉम वेरियस प्लेसेस। वो कैसे परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, हाउ आर दे प्रोग्रेसिंग, उनकी प्रोग्रेस रिपोर्ट जो है दैट हैज टू रीच टू द पेरेंट। सो ये चीज जो है वो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन से ही हुई। पेरेंट्स ऑन देयर fingertips are having the information about their board and their progress. If I talk about from the student's perspective, let's say, तो student आजकल बहुत it's all about their experience all across all those things in the curricular activities, co-curricular activities, and extracurricular activities. Entirely their learning cycle, in terms of soft skills, in terms of their foundational skills, in terms of their technical skills, everything is actually getting experience through the latest technologies, the kind of ERPs, kind of elements we are providing to the students. And that's how actually the age, in the technology age we are living in. And ये तो naturally जो student चाहता है, जो latest trends के साथ अपना learning and development हो, और जो पेरेंट चाहता है कि अपने बोर्ड की सही इंफॉर्मेशन उनको मिले, उससे वो और उनको कैसे इस डायरेक्शन में करियर एडवांसमेंट की तरफ प्रमोट कर सकते हैं, सब कुछ उनको मिल रहा है। तो व्हाई नॉट देन द SISTec एज अ ब्रांड विल नॉट गेट आई थिंक अ प्रायोरिटी। सो दैट्स व्हाट वी वांट। वी फॉर अस, फॉर एट SISTec, द स्टूडेंट इज सुप्रीम एंड व्हाटएवर इज बेस्ट फॉर देम is there for them at SISTec.
मैम जैसे कह रहे थे, एक चीज़ जो मैं प्रॉब्ली शेयर करना चाहूँगा, जब से हम सब साथ में काम कर रहे हैं, जो मैंने नोटिस करा कि SISTec के अंदर सब लोग आपस में लीडरशिप टीम है, सीनियर फैकल्टीज़ हैं, HODs हैं, वो अपने सबके काम के बीच में ट्रांसपेरेंसी को फर्दर एनकरेज करते हैं वो समझना चाहते हैं कि कहाँ कहाँ पे क्या क्या गैप्स आ रहे हैं, हर बच्चे को कैसे इम्प्रूव करना है, हमें अपनी टीचिंग को कैसे चेंज करना है, करिकुलम में कंटिन्यूसली क्या चेंज लाना है, राइट? सो दैट लेवल ऑफ ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन मेनी कन्वर्सेशंस दैट वी हैव बीन इन्वॉल्व्ड, द फोकस ऑलवेज हैज बीन, कोई फैकल्टीज हैं, एचओडीज हैं, दे आर लाइक मेरे ये वाले बच्चों का ये एस्पेक्ट मिस आउट हो रहा है, ये बच्चों को ये आता है और उनको ये नहीं आता, मे बी बिकॉज वॉट वेयर देयर स्कूलिंग वॉज, वॉट दे डिड. सो द proactiveness that I've seen, ki how to put in place the bridge courses, how to help students excel in specific, that interest in terms of changing curriculum on such a regular basis, and not गोल सिमिलर है बट बेस्ड ऑन द स्टूडेंट्स अभी जो आ रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से क्विकली चेंजेस करना और जाना. ये नहीं कि आज हमने डिसाइड कर लिया अब हम 1 साल तक ये ऐसे करते रहेंगे और फिर रिजल्ट्स देखेंगे, जो मैक्सिमम होता है यहाँ पे. अब वो चेंजेस और जिस तरह से डेटा, आई हैव बीन इन कन्वर्सेशंस वेयर यस लीडरशिप मीटिंग्स एंड faculties and HODs are all together and maybe they are not agreeing and there are some hard discussions happening, but the hard discussions were happening because everyone had the students interest in the mind in terms of what is best for the student. ये नहीं कि ये मुझे पढ़ाना आसान है मैं तो ऐसे ही करूंगा. So it's more about कि स्टूडेंट को आज क्या देना पड़ेगा और हमें उस हिसाब से अपने आप को अडेप्ट करना पड़ेगा कि ताकि जो भी सबसे अच्छी चीजें हम स्टूडेंट को लाके दें और हम स्टूडेंट को ऐसे आगे बढ़ाएं, राइट? सो वो जो कंटिन्यूअस एक्सरसाइज है ये हमने लास्ट फ्यू मंथ्स में देखा है कि टॉप से लेके डाउन तक सब लोग ये करना चाहते हैं. एंड आई थिंक दैट पेस इज इंक्रीजिंग इवन फर्दर, वेयर आई वुड से एज इंडस्ट्री भी अगर रैपिडली चेंज कर रही है तो हम भी अब उसमें चाह रहे हैं कि हम लोग भी कैसे रैपिडली अपनी एजुकेशन और अपने टीचिंग मेथड्स को चेंज करते चले जाएं ताकि हमारा गैप, कभी गैप रहे ना, वो ब्रिज होता चले जाए. सो आई थिंक दैट इज अनदर थिंग दैट आई हैव सीन व्हिच कैन रियली सेट द टोन एंड मेक स्टूडेंट्स सक्सेसफुल इफ दे आल्सो डीपली एंगेज in this methodologies in terms of improving themselves. It's not about मैं उसके मुकाबले कैसा, it's always about am I a better person tomorrow, am I practicing enough, am I working on the things which my faculties are telling me, are giving me data points on, so that yes, if every day I'm adding on to something onto me myself, then 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the line, of course I'll be way ahead compared to anyone else and be a lot more prepared for the industry and my chances of success much higher, right? So I think जो SISTec में अब पूरा ही इकोसिस्टम एक स्टूडेंट को आगे बढ़ाने कैसे बढ़ाना है, तो वो एक चीज है जो हम देख रहे हैं कि वो अब मतलब बहुत फास्ट होने लग गया है, राइट? और आगे मतलब अब जैसे भी आपके प्लान्स हैं और जो हम देख रहे हैं कि अगले 6 महीने और 1 साल में और क्या क्या और हो जाएगा, राइट? सो आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग विच कैन really help students in terms of their development, where we are taking actual real measures and not just some superficial measures to showcase कि हमने ये कर दिया. And the interest is कि we fundamentally add value to students, not just ऊपर से कुछ एक लेबल लगा दिया.
एक चीज मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगी इसमें कि every child needs an opportunity to excel. And if someone is actually studying at SISTec, I feel that it's high time for the educational institutions to practice the personalized learning and development for a child. वो चीज हम एक्चुअल में प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं SISTec के साथ. अब हम नॉर्मली ऐसा कहते हैं कि माने पर्सनलाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग एंड देन इन कॉलेज कैसे होगा, राइट? सो ये Pod.ai जैसी प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं कि जिसके थ्रू पर्सनलाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग भी है, पर्सनलाइज्ड डेवलपमेंट भी है, backed by many inputs, and still it is collaborative in a classroom kind of teaching environment. So that's the ultimate blend which actually the SISTec is bringing for their students.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So stay tuned. We are in conversation with SISTec and Pod team telling about the transparency in the ecosystem of learning development and career building.